Welcome back to another episode of Football Tailgaters, where we talk all about the NFL, including bets, and we talk about this week's crazy reveal for the schedule. Here I have Andy and Yams, Andy being the unbiased sports fan, and Yams being the Texans Jets fan, and I'm Aaron, your Cowboys fan. So it's a lot to consume in I guess a short time because the schedule just got released. We are recording, I think this is like 2-3 hours after the schedule was released, and we're like scrambling to get our opinions and for these questions. So instead of just naming all the questions, we're just gonna start off with the first one. We have all the schedules ready. You know, they slowly were teasing it, all kinds of things. You know, they got the primetime games Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night. And then they revealed like who has the easiest schedule and who has the hardest schedule. And then they revealed also the week one bets for the week one NFL bets. Sorry. So we're gonna start off with what we think are the primetime games for the top primetime games for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night. So we're gonna pick one for each primetime. What we think is going to be, you know, the most exciting game, the one that's going to be, I have to go and watch this, you know, I have to call in sick from work or something. I don't know, whatever it is. So we're going to start off with the M's first. What are your picks for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night?
Okay, so one for each category, right?
Yeah.
So Sunday night, I want to say that I think the best game, I want to say September 11, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it last year, and it was a pretty close game. I think being that it's the first week, and both teams they don't have much film strategy, but I mean, being that the Dallas Cowboys did lose a couple of weapons, but I think it'll be a close one. It isn't Dallas Cowboys. I do think that might be the more exciting game of Sunday night. It could just be also the first week, so it's super hyped up. I'm sure everyone's super excited to see Tom Brady against the boys once more time, and this time it's at home. So that's my pick for Sunday night, Monday night. Monday night, I want to select, for me, it will be, I'm really torn between two, only because I like this quarterback. So I'm going to choose September 12th, which is week 1, Monday night, Denver Broncos versus Seattle Seahawks. It's a revenge game, right? We have Russell Wilson going back home, I believe. Going back home to play Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also torn between week 7, October 24th, Chicago Bears and the New England Patriots, only because we have two quarterbacks that were drafted last year. This is their second year. So we have Justin Fields and we have Mac Jones. So it's kind of see who's the better quarterback. You know, who grew, who was in a better situation now. So I'm torn between these two. I am excited to see Justin Fields and how he progresses, because that's someone who I liked last year. Now for our Thursday night, I like to see the Buffalo Bills against the Rams. I think that's going to be an exciting game. And there's one more that I like that I had, but let's just do with that. The Rams and the Buffalo Bills. That's what I have.
Nice. I do think that they usually try to do the first games of those primetime games to be not controversial, but very it's always situational. Like Russell Wilson coming back to Seattle. That's a big one for Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the two two big teams in the AFC with Kansas City Chargers. That's a big deal too, I would say. And then you're getting the rematch of the week one as well for Buccaneers and the Cowboys. So, yeah, I mean, I like your picks. I would say I agree with some of them. Andy, real quick, Andy, what do you think? And then I'll say mine.
I also say, like you were saying, that that they try to put those games early. I know last year they put the Jets against the Panthers early in the season, and it's just like because it's interesting in the beginning because later on in the season you're like either one of those teams like really suck and it's like nah I don't really care, or you just move on to better headlines for other teams for other better games. So yeah, I agree that they try to put those games early. So starting off with the Sunday night football, I would say the top game so far right now is Week 14, the Chiefs against Denver Broncos. It's Week 14; they're in the same division. I mean, as on paper right now, would assume that those two teams are like head to head to win that division. I mean, it's all open door to win that division for all the teams there, like the Chargers and the Raiders as well. But I think those, the veteran Russell Wilson, I can't wait to see what he does with Denver, and because it's a solid team. And then you have Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs. I mean, that's going to be a really good game. So, and it's Week 14, so it's close to the end. They might even decide who's going to be the champion for that division. So that'll be very interesting. Now for the Monday Night Football one, I would go again. It's a late game throughout the season, December 19th, Week 15 for the Rams against Green Bay, and it might be that these two are head to head to actually even win to try to see who's going to be the best team in the NFC. I mean, the Rams, they won the Super Bowl, and I mean, give Matthew Stafford another year with the Rams under Sean McVay's leadership and under that scheme. And then you have Aaron Rodgers, which he almost doesn't disappoint every year. I mean, he just disappoints when I get to the Super Bowl, but I mean, he's always there, like like trying to get there. So I would say Monday Night Football would be the Rams and Green Bay. Now for Thursday Night Football, this one was a toss up because I mean, the most competitive, the most like wow games are on Monday nights and then Sunday nights, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
So if I had to choose, I mean, right now I would just go with Week 2 with Kansas City Chiefs against the Chargers. I can't wait to see what Herbert. I'm a big Herbert fan. What he can. I mean, hopefully I can see him get to that next level and actually, if like beat really, really good teams. So if he beats on Week 2 the Kansas City Chiefs, that's a huge statement right there to show like how the Chargers are ready to go to the next level. So that's the pick that I have for Thursday Night Football. I mean, we do have the opener, which is really exciting with the Bills and the Rams, and technically that's Thursday night, but it's considered part of NBC, the Sunday night type of schedule. But because those two are very similar to me, like they're very close to Rams and Buffalo. I mean, that could be even a Super Bowl preview. So I would say those would be my picks actually.
And on that point that you made, there's I was looking at for Monday night, some of them are going to be on ABC, which I mean, it's still under the same like company, Disney, but I thought that was interesting because
that is. And also
Vikings and Eagles, they're doing ABC. Yeah, Cowboys is going to be Cowboys Giants, ABC and ESPN. And then same thing with Green Bay Rams and Buffalo Bengals. And yeah, those are all it. I wonder why.
Something that's interesting is I believe the DirecTV contract with the NFL is ending after this year. So it'll be very interesting what they're going to do because every channel wants to have a piece of the NFL schedule. So I mean, it's gonna be very interesting. And then we have Troy Aikman and Joe Buck moving from Fox to ESPN. So
Yep.
that's gonna be. I mean, I don't know if I should say interesting because I'm already used to them, but I mean just gonna be on Monday nights instead. So they might even have more interesting games. But I also want to mention that I do also enjoy watching that Eli Manning and Peyton Manning show for Monday Night Footballs.
That was
those
great.
those
I
are
agree.
those are really fun, and I really enjoy Peyton Manning, how he like sets the game plans and like how the positions are, the schemes and the formats, what players should do and not do. It's like he does a really cool play by play. So and then just and then just his brother Eli just like tags along and just agrees with him like yeah.
He's a quiet
But
one, yeah.
he's the quiet one, but it's really funny. I mean, I guess maybe I not that big of a fan about the guests unless they're like football players. Other than that, I mean, I think it's a little bit of a waste. I just like to listen like to their expertise. I mean, that's why we're watching it. But yeah.
You wonder as well if all those not safe for work bloopers that they have on live TV. You wonder if they're like accepting that by like let it happen by accident because that's how they get more viewership because of that. Because
Well,
you
it's
see all
live, right? I mean, they have
Yeah.
like a 10-second delay, but it's pretty funny. I think they had some that weren't suitable for the TV, but I don't
Well,
remember.
remember when Eli Manning flipped the birds?
Oh
That
yeah,
was the biggest one, I think. And
That's
then,
right.
But was it Peyton who cussed on TV?
Yeah, he did.
He dropped the F bomb, I think. So
I
you
don't
wonder
I don't
if
remember
if
that
they're
one.
like, we usually wouldn't accept this, but I think since it's getting us viewers, we might let it slip. But I mean, because it's weird, right? I mean, if it was any kind of other people, they probably would have been in trouble in the hot seat or something.
Right.
But since they
They're
have
the
big
Mannings.
names with
They're the
them,
Mannings.
yeah. I mean, you gotta let it slide. So I think that's a big part of it, and I mean it'll probably still happen because they just seem very casual, nonchalant about things.
Yeah, that's very true. And like looking through the schedule, I know that we were talking about those revenge games. One to look at is the Monday Night Football, the Commanders against the Eagles. That's on
Mm.
until November 14th, which is a little strange for me. They usually put these earlier. So this
Yeah.
is like in the middle of the season. Unless
Either
these
one of them might not be playing meaningful football in towards the end. So
Yeah, we
One
might
of them.
know, like we might realize that at some point one of these teams is not suitable for the playoffs. It might be too late, but at the beginning, it definitely would have been better. Is that what you guys mean?
we'll take under consideration that they're both under the NFC East. So it might be just like competitive throughout the whole season to see who is actually going to take that division.
I had that game highlighted, but I just didn't want to give more attention to NFC East than that they already have. That's why I didn't choose them.
They have a big fan base. What do you want?
I know.
I mean,
very
if you
true.
also, I mean, also there's the Cowboys against the Giants on week 3. I mean,
come on.
I know. That game shouldn't.
That shouldn't even be there.
That shouldn't be there. Yeah.
You know, and I know Aaron, you still have to get to your picks, but I have to say I'm a little disappointed that the Jets didn't get at least one.
Yes. Well, I mean, they got Thursday night, but I would have loved like a Sunday or Monday night because I mean, they seem like a very excited team because we don't know what they're capable of, but they seem loaded, and I think it's time for them to start getting back into the spotlight. I was gonna point out real quick.
Who got Thursday night?
The Jets got Thursday night
Yeah, they got a Thursday night on week
with the
16.
Jaguars. Yeah, it's at the
Yeah.
very end,
Yeah,
but it's a good
but-
start.
I mean, what's interesting about that one is that, or didn't we see that already? The Zach Wilson against Trevor Lawrence, pick number 1 overall pick against
we did.
the second overall pick. I mean, the Jets won, right?
It wasn't a primetime game, was it?
No.
It was just a regular.
It was a regular
Yeah, the
one.
Jets won.
The Jets won. So I mean, it's I guess round 2.
It's not bad, but I mean,
It's not bad. I mean, hopefully these two teams get better. I do like to see like the teams that just weren't good the years prior to just get better and just be more competitive. And then you just keep in mind that they always do some flexing for the Sunday Night Football and do some changes. So you never know. Maybe it just gets more competitive and then they sneak into the Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I doubt it, but it could happen.
Yeah, it could definitely. I'm trying to see. Okay, so for my picks, Sunday night. Oh man. I would like to see. It would be cool to see the Chargers and the Rams, but that's at the very end. It's like the second to last Sunday night game. And at this point, I mean, who knows? It might be exciting, but I like to go with very early on-ish games because it's when we're trying to see what these teams are capable of, especially like against each other. So I think I would go. I would go with the rematch with the Cowboys and Buccaneers. So here's an interesting point I want to make real quick. Is the Cowboys have obviously they're prime time on all three games. They have a Sunday, a Monday, and a Thursday night. You know what else is new? They have multiple Sunday nights. But it's interesting because they have 2 out of 3 of them when we're talking about like one of each. For each primetime game, they have a Sunday night with an NFC East team, which is the Eagles, and then they have a Monday night with the Giants. So they're getting primetime games against, rivalry. So that's interesting to see for me. But I would go with the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys because I want to see that rematch. It was a close game last time, and I would love to see if they can learn from their mistakes from last year and beat them.
You really
this
think
time.
they have a shot, though? I mean, they lost.
They were
Cedric
close
Wilson
last year.
Yeah, they were close, but they had Cedric Wilson and Cooper.
I would think Cooper's a bigger significance than Cedric Wilson. Cedric Wilson's almost like the if you don't have anything else, go with him type
it's
of.
debatable. He actually saved them a few games, like with really tremendous catches. That was,
because Amari Cooper was injured.
No, it was Butler. Gallup. I'm sorry.
Or Gallup. Sorry. Yes, Gallup. Sorry. Well, Cooper was injured last season too, right? He's usually always injured. He missed a couple games.
He did, but it was more
and then Gallup
him
was
replacing Gallup. Yeah, because he was out after that game. Actually, that's when he got hurt in a week on the opener.
Oh yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I really don't see that much of a shot for Dallas. You're going against Tom Brady. If you're gonna go against Tampa Bay and that monster of an offense.
Gronk's not back, right?
He hasn't announced it. I'm sure he'll be back, but he hasn't announced it.
It's getting really close.
Is it really? You still have the rest of May, you have all June, and then training camp starts until the end of July. I don't think.
He also has to get in shape, and he doesn't seem to be.
I think he's gonna be okay, and I'm sure that.
I don't follow him on social media or anything, but I would assume that he's not worried about anything. I don't think he's coming back personally.
He was in Vegas when we were there in the draft.
Yeah, I did see that. I didn't know that he was at the subway thing. He was sitting down there, and I think he was talking to people. I did see that.
Are you really? I thought he just had that party at the Wynn.
No. I saw the video. He was there. He was in the draft area. There was
a whole bunch of players there that we did not take advantage to meet. So that's a shame.
I guess that's our bad. We were just too in awe with everything that was going on. The activities.
It was our first time.
And our last?
Well, hopefully not. Why not?
It was kind of crazy, though.
Vegas did a really good job hosting it. They should host it every year. Just like it was New York every year, it should go to Vegas every year. Weather was nice. They have so many hotels that there shouldn't be any issues. And then getting there is so easy to get there. It was just great. It was just great. But going back to that game to Tampa and Cowboys, I do like to. I am excited to see that game too. It's just that I don't see Dallas having too much of an opportunity. They are not. Who did they get to that next level? Besides,
You can
They got
never
an
doubt the
offensive lineman?
later round picks. You can never doubt the later round picks. You have to give them a shot first.
You know what? Again, I think I said in another episode. I know people don't like him, and I know people would be like, I mean, most people would be like negative towards it. But if they get Antonio Brown, there you go. It helps the situation.
Yeah, I don't want him on that team. That's just me though. I think that this is definitely an underdog situation. Obviously, I think if I have it here, I think oh wait, is that week one? Yeah. The Buccaneers are favorites. Obviously, I think this is an underdog game. I think they're gonna surprise and win because they have that kind of luck. They're capable of that. Even though they lost some weapons, I think they're still capable of doing that. But
doesn't Cowboys actually play worse at home?
Yes, yes, but I mean, we don't know. It might surprise people. Like I said, I feel like they're always you never know with them. At least as how I see it as a fan. I'm always when I go into these games, I look at them like I don't know. Even though they're favorites, I don't know. They could lose. They'll lose in some stupid way, and eventually they do that kind of stuff. And then when they surprise you the most, they come out with really cool games, come out winning, and I think this is going to be one of those types of games where we think they're not going to win, but they'll come out as underdogs and win. That's just my opinion. I might be completely wrong, but I just have the feeling that they might just come out with this some sort of like energy with each other and try to feed off of that like negativity that they had last season. And they have that looming situation of just like, I mean, what are they going to do with that team if they can't go past the first round in the playoffs? So this season they have to try something else, even though it didn't seem like a very strong showing in the draft or in the free agency. Who knows? I mean, you never know with that team. That's how I see it. It's always a gamble with them. But I personally think they'll win that game. But I think it'll be exciting for me as a fan to see that game. If I was unbiased, I'd probably go something with later on in those games for Sunday night with like Green Bay and Buffalo. That'd be pretty cool to see. Where else? Bengals, Ravens. That's always cool. I think those would be the most exciting ones, and then you have later on with the Rams and Chargers, but that's at the very end. But yeah, if I had to pick, it would be the Cowboys and Buccaneers. But if I told if I got told don't be biased, I'd probably go probably with Green Bay and Buffalo. That'd be very exciting to see. And then if we go over to the Monday night I saw it was Cardinals in San Francisco. We've been talking about these guys for a while, and I brought up the way I see their teams right now. We both kind of agree that they're kind of in a weird situation with their quarterbacks and stuff like that, and the whole team is just awkward. You got Deebo Samuel in a very uncomfortable situation for him, and then Kyler Murray, also that, and then DeAndre Hopkins, he's gonna miss some games. So I think that'll be the most interesting game for me to see is San Francisco and the Cardinals, because they're in the what are you going to do this season? Like we're trying to, all eyes are on you guys and what will happen. So I think they're trying to prove, I want to see who's the better team in that situation, I guess, because they're going to face each other. And I think that's pretty cool.
I guess it all depends on who's also going to be the quarterback for San Francisco. Is it
Lance?
Is it Jimmy Garoppolo or Lance? I mean, I know we spoke about this, and the 49ers are up in a corner saying, like, hey, we gave up a lot for Lance, so we have to test them out. But on the other hand, you had Jimmy Garoppolo that has taken you to the Super Bowl and almost got you there last year as well, even though he's not the best quarterback, but he has given you success. And then in the Cardinals, well, then you know that I have said that they're just a mess right now in the situations with the. You just got Hopkins right now that he's going to be suspended for like the first 6 games. That hurts a lot. Then you have Murray, that he's very upset with the team, with the contract situation. And then you have old veteran players there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're playing in Mexico, so I don't think that affects anything. But but
and that's also a lot later. It's in November 21st. So
it's before Thanksgiving. Yeah.
So by that time, either Cardinals will probably have a horrible record. San Francisco still has a quarterback mess. Maybe Garoppolo's injured again. Because I think that Garoppolo will be the starter because they don't have a suitor. Nobody wants him right now, so they have to make him a suitor once again. And I think the following year will be Lance. But we've talked about it.
So let's just say that they start with Lance, and then they're like, I don't know, 4-4. What would you guys do? Would you guys go back to Jimmy, like he's there, like in the bench?
4-4?
Yeah, let's just say they're 4-4. It's already week. I don't know, 9 or 10 because I don't know when their bye week is. But let's just say that they're in 50. Like they're not doing that amazing.
500?
Yeah, they're 500.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you do as the coach? Would you go with Jimmy Garoppolo, or would you continue with Trey Lance and go with that situation? You already have 8 games that you passed already. It's week 9 or week 10. I don't know. Again, depends on their bye week. And you do have a chance to get to the playoffs because we know that the playoffs have been expanded to more teams. So what would you do in that situation? You have 8 games. You're 4-4. I mean, he's done some good things, but then he's also done some bad things. Trey Lance. So let's just say that he's just type of a Jalen Hurts situation.
Well, I think they're gonna roll with Jimmy Garoppolo from the very beginning.
But let's just say they start with Trey Lance. Would you sit Trey Lance and tell the whole world, you know what, we messed up and we're just
confirmed who's gonna start?
No,
they haven't confirmed yet, right?
They haven't confirmed it.
No, okay.
I don't know if that's a smart move on their behalf because then we're gonna have a whole Miami Dolphin situation where they kept going back and forth with Tua and Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick was winning some games for them, and they're like, okay, now you sit down, Fitzpatrick. It just seems like a mess.
You comparing Fitzpatrick to Jimmy Garoppolo?
And is that okay?
Fitzmagic.
I don't think so.
It's Fitzpatrick. Did he not win?
Did Fitzpatrick ever go to the playoffs?
He never got a fair shot because he got benched in Miami.
Yeah, he was doing pretty well, but then he's just one of those that at the very end he can't do it.
Okay, but just the fact that you're asking me this, right?
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Garoppolo, and he never went. Fitzpatrick never went to the playoffs. So you're asking me this. Are you telling me that the coach is not going to go with the guy who took him to the playoffs? Why would you start Trey Lance? Why are you asking me about the whole Trey Lance question?
Because they gave up a lot for him, right? And they're going to look they're going to look pretty bad because they gave up so much for this quarterback that's just not doing well for them. I don't think they have confirmed 100% that they're going to go with Trey Lance, but they do say that they're they have to say that they are 100% with Trey Lance in the sense of that's our quarterback for the future or whatever. So, I mean, I wouldn't compare it to the Miami situation. I mean, no, it's kind of similar, but you do, if Fitzpatrick did take you to the playoffs and almost to the Super Bowl and took you to the Super Bowl, then okay. But in that way, it was kind of easy to just do okay, we got to see what Tua has because he was our first round pick and blah, blah, blah. So with the 49ers, with the Trey Lance, since they gave up a lot to get to that pick, and they gave up many first rounds to get Trey Lance. I'm not even so certain that they actually wanted Trey Lance. I know that Zach Wilson was there, and Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, and then Mac Jones.
Their preference was to get
Justin
Zach
Fields.
Wilson.
And they didn't know what the Jets were going to be picking, and we all knew that Trevor Lawrence was going to be was going to be number 1 overall pick. We were all assuming that. But with Zach Wilson, the Jets never announced that, we're going to go with Zach Wilson. So once that pick was in, then they had to go with whichever pick that they wanted. Either it was Trey Lance, Justin Fields, or Mac Jones.
That's incorrect because Sam Darnold was already traded to the Panthers, so they was already...
No, we didn't know what quarterback they were going to get.
They already had said it was Zach Wilson.
Did they, like, that particular day?
That particular day as the draft day?
Yeah. They said they were going to go with...
They had discussed this.
Did they announce that they were... That's my whole point. Did they announce that they were going to pick Zach Wilson?
No, but reports said that they had that discussion with Shanahan that they were going to roll with Wilson.
Well, I don't know.
Well, it
what
wasn't
happened
confirmed.
there.
It was only reports. That's a
It was just
that's
reports,
a significant difference.
so-
And whenever you hear reports, you're always like, it could be 50-50, but it wasn't 100%.
But it was 100% by the time Sam Darnold was traded.
You could
No,
argue
it
that,
wasn't.
yes.
How was that? No, it wasn't, because Sam Darnold was traded before the draft, right? He was traded before the draft, so there was a lot of quarterbacks available. Even people were saying that Justin Fields can be going like really, really high up there. So, I mean, it wasn't confirmed 100%.
That's not how I remember it.
Well, because I think you were knowing, since you were a Jets fan, you were looking throughout those reports, and maybe you were like saying, no, they're actually going to be going with Zach Wilson. And we were probably thinking, yeah, Zach Wilson is going to be their person. But I mean, all things do change in the draft. I mean, look what happened this year. They went with Walker instead of Hutchinson. So you never know. And I believe probably the 49ers were like, you know what? Let's see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what was going through their heads, but they did give up a lot for Trey Lance. And I think they even had the opportunity. Maybe Trey Lance would have even fallen to them. So who knows?
Yeah, they were 12, right? They were 12 and went down to the third pick. But I guess to answer your question about the whole Jimmy Garoppolo, Lance, if they were 4-4, they're 500. Your question is, would I bench Lance for Garoppolo?
Right. And I'm telling you, it's kind of like a
I wouldn't.
Jalen Hurts situation that he does some good things and then some bad things,
No,
like some
I wouldn't.
boneheaded moves.
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
Because Trey Lance is our quarterback. We have to develop him. He has to go through the bumpy roads and get through the whole season. I wouldn't go back to Garoppolo.
What would you do, Aaron?
I think I would ride with Garoppolo until it's not working, and then I'd commit 100%. Like if Garoppolo's not playing well, and they have, let's assume they have short patience right now in this situation, then
No, but go back into
what?
like how I was saying in the situation that they go with Trey Lance. Let's just say they go with Trey Lance and then they're 4-4. They're at 500.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they still have a shot to make the playoffs. And because I also said that they expanded the playoff team, so they have an opportunity to get there. So what would you do? Would you go with Jimmy Garoppolo or continue with Trey Lance? Even though it's going to be, I mean, probably harder for your team to make it. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. So let's just say 4-4.
Here's the deal. So the reason why it would be tough, because if you bench him, Trey Lance is gonna. I think he's gonna take offense to that. Like, oh, you guys don't believe in me, right? So, and I, like, if I was Trey Lance and I wasn't doing so hot, but like I'm trying out there, I'm trying to gain experience, and we're 4-4. Like, I wouldn't say that's the worst situation. We can definitely turn this around. I would say it's like not halfway through the season, obviously, but we still have enough time to turn this thing around. As like we had like as a experience of like what we've seen, I would bench him and start Garoppolo, but man, it's so risky because you might, Trey Lance might not like it, and if it doesn't work with Garoppolo, it's gonna look even worse for you. So I would start him. I would take that risk. I would start Garoppolo, bench Lance. You could say he's still, he still has time to develop. And because I mean, Garoppolo has playoff experience. He's been to the playoffs and he's a veteran. So you go with what's more trustworthy, obviously. And
yeah, I don't know.
Trey Lance needs to be developed more. But assuming that everything goes well, I would bench him and see if it goes. And if it doesn't go well, I would just get rid of Garoppolo and put my focus on Trey Lance before the contract is over and he wastes away his years and he doesn't get to really prove what he's really capable of.
Well, we're going on year number 2, so it's still okay for me. So this is what I would do. So if they started Trey Lance and they were 4-4, and I still have a shot to get to the playoffs, I'm gonna be sitting him down and putting Jimmy Garoppolo because he has a better shot to get us there. Because that's the whole point of the NFL, to get to the Super Bowl. Now I'm a little like tired of like, oh, how is this quarterback gonna feel? Like babying these guys, like no, like you be professional, be an adult. This is how it is, and you're just gonna be learning. I mean, we're not telling you that you're not gonna be the quarterback of the future, but we'll start again next year. But I mean, you got your shot of 8 weeks, and you didn't deliver how we were saying. So we still need some time to develop you. So since I still have a shot to the playoffs, I'm gonna go with Jimmy Garoppolo and try to win. And then next year we'll go with you again, and hopefully that works. And if it doesn't, then maybe we messed up. But the whole point of this is to win.
At the end of the day, they have to stick with one or the other. They can't keep bouncing like this because they're just wasting their time. And they're wasting all that talent that they have right now that they could have gone all the way.
How are they wasting it if they almost went to the Super Bowl last year?
They're wasting it because they keep juggling of like, oh, are we going to start Lance or are we going to start Garoppolo? And there's always like this media talk and people criticizing them. It's like, oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? They're always asking them this and that. And they're just getting berated with just, are you going to start Garoppolo or Lance? Like they need to get rid of that question. They need to just get their final decision, write it on stone, just stop it with these questions because it's getting old. Like they need to decide because they've had plenty of time with Garoppolo. They need to go. Huh?
It's time to move on.
It's time to move on. That's why I would say give Garoppolo his last shot. You can't do it this year. Fine, dude, get out of here. We'll do Trey Lance. That's how it is. And I was just saying the little pointer of like, what if Trey Lance gets butthurt? You have to take that into account just in case. I mean, their players are humans. They have feelings, right? And whatever you say, business is business. Okay, yeah, but you drafted him because, yeah, he's getting paid. You drafted him because, you know, you wanted him to possibly be the quarterback of the future. So yeah, that'd be my thing. I'd bench Trey Lance because, okay, if I go with logic here, I'm going with the veteran and playoff experience. I go with Garoppolo. And if he goes all the way, cool. If he doesn't, get out of here. And I just stick with Trey Lance. End of story.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm sorry, okay. And I don't know if you gave your Thursday Night Football pick.
No, but this just makes my point. We just made a whole we just made a whole conversation on this game. Like, this game is going to be talked about. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal because both of these teams are in limbo, you could say, right?
Yeah, for now, I still give the edge to the 49ers just because of their success.
Yeah, it's going to be a close game.
And their coach.
I think. Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game. It's, what was it, week 11, right? So Hopkins is going to be back by then. Yeah, that's something to take interest in or to, you know, make a point of it. Anyways, Thursday, like I said, it's always like the beginning games that you're like, I need to see how this works out. I would probably choose the first game, Chiefs and Chargers. I think that's always very exciting. They're high-powered offenses and they have solid defense. I mean, obviously, the monster defense, the edge, if you had to pick defenses, you'd go with Chargers all the way because of what they got these past months. I'm a big fan of the Chargers, of what they've been doing, and I like Justin Herbert a lot. The fact that they have that stacked defense now is super exciting, and I think it's always exciting to see really, really good defenses at play. I found that recently kind of like one of my favorite things to like notice is defenses just doing wonders and winning games. specifically because I got to see that like it hasn't been in a hot while, but with the Cowboys with Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, I like what Micah Parsons was doing was just so exciting, and it kind of like it put me in this mentality of like, wow, defense is really fun to watch, when it's good. You're usually like, oh, high powered offense is always so exciting because you got like teams like Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs throwing bombs at the end zone and stuff like that. But I think for defenses, it's starting for me to be like a very interesting thing to see. And I think for the Chargers, they have this Thursday night game that is very exciting to watch against the Chiefs, who are definitely playoff contenders. And I want to see what this team is capable of, what the defense is capable of. It's going to be amazing to watch. So I picked that as the Chargers and Chiefs for my Thursday night game.
I agree with you.
That's very exciting because, I mean, you got like, if you talk about like playoff contenders, you got possibly Miami and Bengals. That's sort of early in the season, week 4. Maybe the Colts and Denver. We want to see what Matt Ryan is capable of doing. What else? Baltimore and Buccaneers. That's exciting. Tennessee, Green Bay, Patriots, Buffalo. And I think that's it. Yeah. Those are like if I had to pick multiple games, those are pretty interesting to watch as well. But yeah, so Sunday night, it's going to be Cowboys, Buccaneers because, I'm going biased here for this time. I got to show some bias here. And then on Sunday or Monday night, it's tough, but I would have to go with 49ers and the Cardinals, like I said, and then the Chargers and Chiefs, yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about that.
No, I'm sure that we're gonna be discussing more about the games and the schedule in our next episodes. But for now, those are our picks.
Yeah, so we'll head over to the next question. The hardest schedules that teams have and the easiest. So who's got the hardest schedule and who has the easiest schedule? So it's come out that there's already a thing that shows that the Rams and Cardinals have the hardest schedule, and the Cowboys and Commanders are tied for the easiest schedule. I think we're asking here, who do you think has the easiest schedule and the hardest schedule?
Well, the last 4, if you could see the last 4 of the easy schedule, just look at it. Who is it?
The NFC East.
The NFC East.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
And
that
that's
says
just-
it all.
yeah,
It just tells the big, it's a clear picture of what's going on there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, taking off the Cowboys, even though they won 12 games last year, I mean, if you see the ones that have the hardest schedule, it's the Rams, the Cardinals, Cincinnati, Tampa, San Fran, the Chiefs. And we know that they have the hardest schedule because their division is just harder. But it's also nice to see hey, well, the winners of last year, they should still continue to have a hard schedule because they have such a built good team. So it's really nice to see that as well. So. And then the NFC East, I mean, having them the easiest schedule, they play each other twice, so it just makes sense that way. But I think this year, I mean, the Commanders is gonna do. I think that they're gonna be doing better. I don't know what's gonna happen with Carson Wentz, honestly, but that I believe in Ron Rivera. And that team they just need a quarterback. And I mean, we'll see how Carson Wentz does there. But it can happen. I mean, they're going to be better this year, I'm assuming. So, yeah. And then the Rams, they have the hardest schedule. Well, they're the Super Bowl champions, so they should have the hardest schedule.
They should. Yeah, you're right.
Hmm.
And is it really that a hard schedule? Because I know they play Arizona twice, and I think they're kind of a mess right now.
Well, yeah, but then they play
And they're also
San
kind of
But they almost went to the Super Bowl.
They're still okay. Yeah, those guys are still okay. But I don't know. I just don't see Arizona. I mean, they can always split. Yeah, you're right. Those teams are always They're tough.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So, I mean, the ones in the middle, I mean, you can also say for the, I don't know. Um, I mean, the number one overall pick, which was the Jaguars. They're almost like to an easy schedule. It's the NFC East, then it's Detroit, then Colts, then the Jaguars. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're the sixth hardest schedule. And then you have the Lions, which I just said they're like number 5 of the hardest schedule. So okay, so I'm sorry, the Jaguars are the 7th, and the Detroit Lions are the 5th. So that should also be the case, like have for them to get a little bit better and for their season. So I mean, I think it just the schedule is done correctly, and maybe the Cowboys should be a little bit higher during the middle because they did win 12 games. But I mean, if you saw the ones that they won against, I mean, I think they beat the Chargers by barely, and it was also a controversial call. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't put the Cowboys too much. I think they're a little bit overhyped, especially this year, putting them as the first Sunday night game. I think they're overhyped, honestly. Like, show me more, and then I'll put you there. But it's just I know that they have a huge fan base, and it's a Cowboys. So, I mean, either you love them or you hate them. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Let me say real quick is that I was seeing a lot on Twitter that the majority of expectation, at least from what I've seen, was a lot of 9-8s. I think it's just a running joke of the 8-8 type of stuff or 9-7.
And it's probably true.
Yeah, and it is probably true, but don't count them out on tough games. I mean, they are capable of winning against tough matchups, you know. And yeah, there's controversial calls, but I mean, a lot of the games have them if you really think about it.
Who did they beat last year that was like a good solid team?
Oh man.
Despite the Chargers with that controversial call. And don't tell me that the Vikings, because no. Even with Cooper Rush and that Sunday night, like no, I wouldn't put the Vikings there.
Did they beat Kansas City Chiefs?
No, they lost against Kansas City.
No, they lost 19-9. So let's see, they beat
the Patriots with the rookie Mac Jones. Like, come on, no.
But they went to the playoffs. They
did, but like
that was a playoff team. You can't just say it's a bad team with Bill Belichick. You praise him all the time. Well, that's a good team right there. They're definitely capable of going to the playoffs again.
Take consideration that they expanded the playoffs. So I don't even know if they would have made it if they didn't do that expansion. They lost against the Raiders and Thanksgiving. They lost against Tampa. Like, no, show me that you can win some games, like, and good teams, and then we'll talk about them. They beat the Panthers. Like, no.
No, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, so they barely lost against Buccaneers. They won in a very controversial way with the Chargers, and then they won against Eagles. Woohoo! Panthers. Woohoo! Giants. Woohoo! Whatever. Patriots. I count that as a good win. It was close with the Vikings,
and it was barely too.
And then they lost in an embarrassing way against the Broncos.
They got demolished by the Broncos. Like, demolished, embarrassed. They haven't beat the Broncos in, like, a very long time. Like, even before Romo, I think.
Chiefs, it's just, it was not a good season for them, and they were always winning against teams that weren't competitive enough for the playoffs. And that's how they got into the wild card spot and got kicked out by the 49ers first round.
Exactly. They won 12 games beating mediocre teams.
They got issues for sure, and that's why they got one of the easiest schedules. But that's only because, it's a very high market team, and they gotta win so they can, get that viewership up, get the fans engaged. Always doing that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's pretty obvious that the NFC East is a whole mess right now, and it might not be a pretty season for the Cowboys. It could definitely be a 9-8 easily. It's the safest bet, I would say, but I wouldn't count them out on saying they can go double digits for sure, and that they might even be a wild card spot again. since they got easy schedules. I'm not saying they're gonna go past the wild card round because I definitely don't have confidence in that.
Well, I
But
mean, they sometimes they do beat the wild card round, and then they just get kicked out by Aaron Rodgers in the second.
yeah, but I mean, the
Well,
San Francisco was a tough matchup for them at the very beginning. And if that's another wild card spot, because like you said, they expanded, so there might be
yeah,
because there is an increase in good teams in the AFC, and you're seeing like NFC slowly getting better, but I mean they're still kind of bad if you compare them. There's just more teams available to go into the playoffs, so it's just the same thing for the Cowboys, no matter what, if it wasn't expanded or not.
yeah.
So
We'll
yeah,
see.
I mean, yeah, I'm going with the 9-8 with him, but in terms of the easiest schedule, I do see like if I had to go with like, because the question is who's gonna have the better like schedule or the better like record because of their easy or hard schedule.
They're just giving him like a free bone, like here's a easy schedule for you. Even though it's not like, I mean, the schedule is what it is. Like your opponents, it is what it is. You're gonna know who your opponents is the following years too. So it's just based on how good your opponents were the year before. That's all.
Mm-hmm. I think out of the four, they're definitely gonna and the Eagles might have it better than the Cowboys or even the Commanders.
I also don't know if they take it under consideration, like the when they're doing the schedule and how the NFL calculates who has the hardest schedule, about also like how many times you're like consecutively you're out and about from home, like away games, like you're not at home playing at home for like 5 weeks or so,
yeah,
or or also
they
put an
definitely do
international
because
game.
there is I don't know if you saw a video. The Seahawks came out and pranking the teammates, some of the teammates, with the fake schedule, saying that they had like 3 away games, and then they had no bye week after the Germany game that they have. So I think they definitely put some consideration in all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
they,
it could
gotta
be.
think into it.
It could be.
And it's very hard. It's definitely not easy to make a schedule. I'd take way too much time on trying to figure that stuff out. But they gotta take into account, the situations that these teams are in and what kind of exciting matchups we could see, obviously. But they also have to consider how much they travel, how many away games and if they can have in a row, how many home games in a row, that kind of stuff. It's not easy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I saw this thing on Twitter, the most traveled team that traveled like flight miles, and it was the Las Vegas Raiders. But then I saw on this chart, right? And most of the teams that had the most travel miles were obviously the teams in the West Coast.
Yeah, I would say Seattle is like, come on,
yeah,
who's
they were
close
up
to
there.
Seattle?
Exactly. So I mean, it makes perfect sense. All the East Coast are close to each other. So
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Cleveland, for example. I'm sure that takes a toll on the team.
For sure. And the hardest one, I mean, Cardinals sucks for them. They're not a good team to like be taking that kind of strength of schedule, I guess. I mean, they got the second hardest one. So that'll be very interesting. And then Cincinnati's in third, Buccaneers are fourth, and then San Francisco fifth. So I think that's interesting. 49ers and Cardinals have a very hard schedule. So I think that's good for them so they can see their situation and start making some big time decisions. I keep going back.
Expose expose that you're not that good and to show like what changes you guys got to make to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
what about the Jets?
They were
the Jets are right in the like middle, you could say.
Well, and it's because they're in the AFC East, so they have Buffalo. Mm-hmm. They have the Patriots.
That already makes it automatically like just hard because you're just in the AFC East.
Exactly, and they've been in that. I mean,
they've had a hard schedule.
Yeah,
like,
with the Belichick and
years.
Tom Brady for those decades. So yeah, it was gonna be really hard to be able to win that division. I mean, they did win a couple times, I believe, but
Yeah, and so they have to face the Patriots twice, the Buffalo twice, and now Miami. That's getting better twice, and then they're not gonna have it easy. But I think it's a good time for to get some experience going on and give them tough matchups for the rookies and maybe build them to be a better player. I guess you could say. I mean, they got those, and then they got Green Bay. That's tough. Cincinnati. That's tough. um. But I mean, besides that, they got it pretty easy, which is why I mean it makes sense why they're kind of like in the middle, because it's almost like a half and half. You could say maybe they'll go, what is it, 9-8?
I don't
What do
know.
you think,
I don't
Yams?
know. I
Of
don't
your
know.
own
I don't
team?
know. No, they've been improving each year by adding 2 more wins each year. So that with that being said, I'm just gonna add another additional 2 wins this year. So they won 4 last year. They're gonna win 6 this year. So I mean that's improving. That's improvement. So I say they'll win 2 more games this year.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I wouldn't. And that's the thing. They're putting a lot of attention on the Jets. They had a great draft and everything. And Zach Wilson looks toned. He looks beefy. And he's looks bigger. He's throwing zips, and all the players on there are praising him. Like he has so much talent. And I'm not very comfortable with all the hype they're doing with the Jets. So
I also forgot they have Baltimore week 1. That's a tough matchup
yeah,
right off
that's
the
a tough
bat.
one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's at home. The Jets do play better at home.
Mm-hmm.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to see how many wins they would get. It is probably a 9-8 season type of deal at best. At best, but yeah, like you
That's
said,
giving
it's
them too
probably
much.
going to be
That's giving them too much,
6.
Aaron.
That's why I said at best if they really had a good draft. But it'll probably be just a 6-win season, probably.
They just, I mean, if they do win 7 games or 8 games, I mean that's
good.
That's they're getting better
8
every year.
and 9 is a win, no matter what for them. I mean,
And their defense needs to be ranked 15th to 20th, in my opinion, for them to be like, okay, we're doing some good things in defense with Robert Saleh. So 15 to 20, even if there's some injuries, like at some point you gotta because they had Carl Lawson injured, so that also affected them, and then they had also some injuries in the secondary, so that affected them as well. But you gotta figure things out as well too. So I mean, every other team has injuries as well, so they have to at least be ranked 15 to 20, in my opinion, to show that you're doing better too as well in defense.
mm-hmm. And then
They were dead last at 32, so come on.
They
So,
were. What's
go
up?
ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say that they're in the AFC conference as well. So even if they even had a chance in the future, like in a couple of years, I mean, they're gonna be struggling. We might see them in the hunt in like a year or two. But the AFC is just a tough conference to deal with, and to even think about getting in the playoffs because of Buffalo and Patriots in itself already. And you got like way more teams that you have to think about in the AFC, so they're gonna be.
Hey, if we see them in November and it says like they're on the hunt, man, that is awesome.
Yeah,
that's
what
awesome.
I was gonna ask. Like that'll be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them in the hunt this season.
You wouldn't be surprised? I would be surprised.
I would be really surprised. I think I'm expecting.
No, because I think they're capable of being that type of team. That's why I'd be like, yeah, they're capable of it. I'd be surprised if they go to the playoffs, but like, I mean, that's a long shot. I'd be more surprised if they had a terrible season, I think. Like a complete terrible season. We're talking about like 2 wins.
I don't know.
They should be better than Steelers.
They should, yeah. But they ranked dead last in each category last year. But I mean, look, just see, like you said, they have to face the Patriots, they have to face Buffalo, and they have to face Miami. Those teams alone are hard. So
Baltimore,
I think,
yeah,
last year we didn't win any games against them. So it will be extremely
Could you see
tough.
them winning at least one game against a good team?
Maybe the Patriots.
A good
Maybe.
team, not a great team, I guess.
what's a great team on the schedule?
A good team could
Bengals?
be.
Yeah,
no,
Bengals, Chiefs.
I would say
They
Bengals are a
beat the
great
Bengals
team.
last year, so why not?
Yeah,
They're not
but
facing the Chiefs.
No, they're not. I don't know their schedule. I'm just saying. I was just naming good teams.
Baltimore, Bengals, those are good teams. Denver.
I'll send you the link. But yeah. I
mean,
mean
I can
Denver's
see
a
them,
good team. Denver's a good team. They could win against Denver, but they really have a tough defense though.
No, I don't see them winning against Denver.
Vikings is it's like a decent or good team. You know what I mean? Depending on how they do.
They can win. They can win against the Vikings. They can.
I think they're capable of winning against them, and I wouldn't count it as it's just the Vikings. I wouldn't say that. The Vikings are totally capable team. I think that'd be a pretty good win for the Jets.
So no, I would say it's either Baltimore, Cincinnati, Denver, Green Bay, and Buffalo. That's it. Those are the great teams that they would be.
Yeah, the great teams.
Yeah. Good teams,
they
can win some good teams. Yeah, they can beat some good teams. The great teams, hopefully they beat one or two.
Max. I say they beat.
And I don't think they'll beat any of them.
I say they beat Ravens at home.
Interesting.
And I say they beat the Vikings.
That's a good team, not a great team.
That's a good team. If you're talking about great teams, like
okay, the great team is Ravens.
Ravens, Cincinnati, Green Bay, Patriots, and Buffalo.
The ones they have a shot in is maybe Baltimore, like you're saying, and they play Buffalo twice. They should beat them at least once.
No, I don't see it happening. No.
I got higher expectations about your team than you.
Yeah, because
she's used to it.
Yeah. You know what? I prefer to have low expectations just so I'm not disappointed. So, yeah, it hurts because I always feel like, yeah, we can beat the Buffalo. But no, it just never happens. And
yeah, we might just see like in this season, like as they go through the games, you might just realize.
You might see, it might just disappoint me right off the bat. So, and Patriots, something always happens against the Patriots team that it just embarrasses the Jets team. Like there's something embarrassing that happens the very next day, and it's all over the news. And it's just embarrassing. Belichick knows how to embarrass the Jets.
He's like, it's just a cakewalk for this game. He already knows. Right. He has his game plan. It's like, all right, this is what we do. And anyways, don't even practice.
It always happens every year.
Well, now it's different because now it's a little bit difficult with Mac Jones.
No, not with Belichick, dude. Look, every time they play against the Patriots, the first game you'll see, it's a little close. The Jets have some life, right? They're like, oh man, they can actually win it. Then you face them again the second time, and people are like, well, they almost had it the last time, right?
Right.
And then boom, here comes Belichick saying, you thought you had me last time? Let me embarrass you this time.
I figured you out completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Yeah, that's very true.
It always happens. He embarrasses them the second time around.
And they face each other twice in 2 months. It's Patriots, and then it's Buffalo, and then it's a bye week, and then Patriots again. So that's a tough run. That's 3 tough games that they got in a row.
Yeah.
And I guess
actually, no, they have a lot of tough games because Denver and
Green Bay in a row.
Yeah, so
and you
Green
also
Bay, Denver,
you don't know with
Patriots.
Miami. Maybe Miami's a good team, so maybe them. But for sure, Green Bay, Denver, Patriots, and Buffalo, and then Patriots again.
No, it's super tough.
All in a row in the middle of the season.
I say after the Pittsburgh game, it's 4 losses in a row. I'm sorry, 4, and then 6, and then the bye, and another loss.
Wait, but it's Miami, then Green Bay, Denver, Patriots.
I wouldn't count Miami as like a guaranteed loss because it could be a gamble for them.
So it would be Green Bay, Denver, and then you don't ever know. The first one against the Patriots, they can win that one. So they should and then it's Buffalo. So maybe they can win both. I don't know. It can be 2-2 if that would be the greatest scenario, or 1-3. That would be okay scenario, or the realistic scenario 1-4.
I don't know. I don't see it. I say the great teams that they can win is Ravens and maybe, just maybe, I don't see it. I don't see it happening again. The Bengals.
Mm-hmm. I see you're pretty confident on the Ravens. Do you think that's a pretty sure pick? as like underdogs?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they didn't they lose someone that Lamar Jackson liked.
Yeah,
Well, they
Marquise
lost
Brown.
Hollywood
Yeah,
Brown,
Hollywood
Hollywood
Brown.
Brown. Yeah, and
They
I
still
don't know.
have
I
Mark
think
Andrews.
Jackson's kind of he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's great. So, but you have the hardball. We'll see. We'll see. You know, I don't like to hype this schedule. I just watch and
They got a decent defense specialty with that Hamilton safety that they got off the draft. I think he's going to be a top player.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Kyle
you're
Hamilton.
right. Their defense got more stacked. And then they got
The Jets
the
got
center
more
that
stacked.
the Cowboys should have gotten, Tyler Lindenbaum.
Yep, as well. So they're
They
doing
had a
they're doing
great
their smart
draft.
moves. They're always doing great moves because they're always up there. So
A little bit jealous, but yeah. So I guess like what was the question again? What were we trying to get to? What was the point?
no, we were just
The
saying the
hardest-
strength of schedule. We were just like, do we agree? I guess with the. I mean, it doesn't matter
Oh,
if
if
we
it's
agree or
hard or
not with
not.
the with the strength of
Mhm.
schedules or our
Mhm.
thoughts about it. So.
I think it's pretty fair. It's always fair.
Yeah,
I think.
I think
every
it's
year.
fair,
I look
too.
at them. I'm like, yeah, it's always fair. I guess we'll go on to the last question, which is the week 1 bets. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. We're trying to see. Okay, so let me see. There it is. The odds for the NFL week 1. Are we gonna say every matchup, right? If we think.
No, I
it's
think
good.
that we'll be good if we just like pick our I don't know two max
solids?
yeah 2 solid or
Two
3
solids.
2-3 picks that we think that those are like
Confident
as of
ones?
right now confident ones that they're good to bet for.
All right, whoever wants to go first, I'm gonna look it over real quick.
I'll go first. So my solid picks is I go to the bottom because I think that's where they're at. I say
Look in your
Seahawks lose against the Broncos. That's a solid pick for me. And then I'm going through the list as well. I have well, you know what? This is actually harder than I thought. I have the Packers winning over. Well, no, that's no. You know what? I don't know. I know I said earlier that the Cowboys do have a shot. I would probably go with the spread on this one, but I'll just choose the Buccaneers as money line to win. So far I have the Seahawks. I think they will lose against the Broncos, and I have the Buccaneers and Cowboys, and I have Buccaneers winning that one. And then I'll throw one more in here that I feel like it's a good solid pick here. Is the Eagles against the Lions.
Wait, you going money line?
Money
Eagles?
line, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I see what you're saying. As of right now, I know when you're seeing these, you kind of like question yourself. Well, this might happen or this not happen. I mean, when you're betting, I know you have your thoughts, but I'll give you mine. I'll give you the first Monday Night Football. It's the Broncos against the Eagles, -4 points. I do think the Broncos will take it with the spread, -4 points. I will book that one. And then I will actually book as well, just money line though, 49ers against the Bears. The Bears. I think those two are the solid ones. And then for the third one, I would pick the Titans, a money line against the Giants. Those 3 would be the picks that I would do. So Broncos money line -4, not money line, spread. Broncos spread -4 against the Seahawks. Then I have the Titans money line against the Giants. It's -6.5. I'm just giving you a really secure pick. And also I would do money line 49ers against the Bears. That's the question mark just because of Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. But the thing is that they have a really good, solid culture in that team. Even though Debo wants to leave and everything, but everybody seems like everybody's okay. I mean, you don't see too much talk or hype. I mean, they have gone to the Super Bowl, and they almost went to the Super Bowl last year. It's just that coach I have a lot of respect for him, and I think he will definitely know how to maneuver against the Bears, especially since they have a new head coach and Justin Fields, it's the second year, so it's week 1, so it's gonna be hard for them. So those are my 3 picks.
Yeah, I want to throw one more secure pick in here. The Colts against the Texans. The Colts winning it.
I saw that one, but I mean, I don't know, since Matt Ryan went to the Colts. I really don't know how that's gonna go. I mean, yeah, Matt Ryan is good, but I don't know how that's just gonna be going out right off the bat in week 1. And then the Texans with Mills. I mean, Mills didn't play that bad, and I mean, they looked like they were getting their act together there in the end of the season. So I'm gonna stay away from that one. That's a question mark. I'm just gonna give solid that I don't think.
I disagree. I agree with the M's. I think it'll be good. I think Matt Ryan is totally still capable of playing good. I'm gonna go with my picks though. The first one I would probably put I'd do Broncos money line, and then you guys didn't see this, but this is out. I saw this game and I'm like, okay, this is a sure pick. The Packers Vikings. I think the Packers would win this. I'd go Packers spread.
No. They're always fighting. No, that's a risky.
I think that they're totally capable of winning by a good margin because they have a good defense, and Kirk Cousins will definitely not
I think
be
Kirk
off to a
Cousins
good
going to
start this
ask you
season,
if you
I
like
think.
that pick. You like that? You like that?
I just don't have any real faith on the Vikings with Kirk Cousins under center. But that's how I see it. That's why I'd go with that. And then, yeah, the last one would be Colts Texans. I'd go with Colts money line, but I don't know about the spread. Yeah, those would be my picks. I'm trying to see if there's any other ones, but no, all the other ones are kind of tough. Maybe the Ravens Jets, but
no, don't stay away from the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets kind of screw you over if you're watching them and betting for them. So I would stay away from them.
No, I was gonna say Ravens, but I mean, who knows? But the ones I like are those is Broncos Seahawks, and Colts Texans, and Packers Vikings.
For the number 1, it's Broncos and Seahawks. I know that I believe there's breaking news, Aaron, with the Broncos. I know there's a situation there.
Yeah. Jerry Jeudy was arrested. I'm trying to see what it was.
Come out?
It was something
what was the reason?
weird. I forgot. What.
Yeah, I mean, there's some charges about. Go ahead and
arrested. It says faces charge of criminal tampering with domestic violence and.
So I really don't know what's going to happen there, is if he's going to be arrested and right off the bat, because at the end of the day, it's guilty. No, it's innocent until proven guilty. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. I mean, if it does go to court or that he has to fight it, that takes some time. So I don't think the NFL is just going to suspend them right off the bat until they see what's going on. So, I mean, they haven't even suspended Deshaun Watson either. So, and they've dropped a lot of charges against him. So we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen there. But I still think with that Russell Wilson is very capable, even if Jerry Jeudy is there, to just find Patrick or Sutton. So I think it'll be. I'm sorry.
Are the Broncos capable of just sitting him out?
No, I don't think so. Again, it's going to be I mean, Jerry Jeudy has his agent protectiveness that he's not going to speak too much about it, and it's just going to work if he's not suspended. So even if he was suspended or in jail for the first game, I still think the Broncos are solid to win, and it's not going to affect them too much.
Well, here it is. Jeudy prevented a woman from retrieving several items, including a woman's wallet, medical information for a child, and a car seat.
I mean, for those types of situations, I mean, you're going to be charged, but then it can even go to trial, and then you're going to look at evidence and all of that stuff. It might take a while, so you know how these things are.
Yeah, they're pretty complicated.
I think the Broncos will be fine, though.
I think so, too.
And
think
if
so,
not, I
too.
mean,
Mainly
yeah,
because
I
that
mean, I
defense
think
is
there's
good.
still a few
Didn't
wide
they lose
receivers.
someone recently? He's in.
Noah
I mean,
Fant, the
I think it
tight
was like
end.
a year or
Or
two
maybe I'm
ago.
confusing it with the one from the Raiders. Didn't someone from the Broncos get arrested?
Oh, that's from the Raiders. That's Ruggs.
Mm,
Yeah, for
yeah.
drunk driving.
But
No,
you mean
yeah,
like
that
recently?
was him.
Recently?
Ruggs.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah.
So
hmm
that's
Also, I counted them out on I think it's a Thursday night game. The Raiders and Rams would be not bad, I think. But that's anyways, besides that fact. Um yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. And that just sucks because it's just a complicated situation that they're gonna be in. And this is not definitely not positive news at all whatsoever, but they're still
yeah. And
capable
if
of
they
being a
need
good team. I just want to see
if they
what
need
the
another wide
receivers
receiver,
do.
there's still Beckham is still available and Julio Jones is still available. So
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. Well, I don't have any
No.
more thoughts on that. I don't know about you
nothing at
guys.
all.
Alrighty. Well, that's gonna conclude this episode. It was a bunch of jumbled thoughts. You know, we were trying to take a lot in with the schedules. Very exciting stuff. We're getting closer to the season. But yeah, we also gave you guys the bets for week 1. And we talked about the hardest and easiest schedule, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys next episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Peace out.
thank you.
See you next time.